was watching Instagram.
Sounds like pornography, bro.
Yeah, pull on some porn if you want.
You don't gotta pull up no porn, bro. We're talking football.
The next best thing.
What is up, guys? It's the Adventure Us Podcast. That's BMAC. I'm Kyle, and today we're talking the first round of the NFL Draft. It turns out that nobody knows anything. All the mock drafts we looked at, the one we did, and everything we tried to think about as far as the teams, it didn't mean anything because this weird,
should be crazy.
Yeah, this whole weirdness that's going on with the coronavirus. There's no scouts leaking anything, and it turns out that we had zero insight, and people just went with crazy ass picks like the Green Bay Packers or the Seahawks. So,
oh my god, the Seahawks is fine,
but the Packers is crazy, man. We'll get into it. We'll start at the beginning of the draft and work our way to the back half, all the way to my Chiefs taking the first running back off the board. Super happy about it. And Brian got CeeDee Lamb there in the middle. I think we're both pretty euphoric about our where our guys ended up at. So let's get into it. Obviously, it went chalk for the first three picks as far as Okudah, Burrow, and Chase Young.
Yep.
I think it just all makes sense from a standpoint as far as what they're trying to do, what they're each trying to do. We thought they might go middle linebacker with Simmons in our mock draft, but it makes sense. I mean, Jeff Okudah he's the most complete player. He might not have the highest ceiling, but he's going to come in and start day one for them, and they don't have. I mean, they have Adam Thielen and Devontae Adams. I think that's about it, and he's going to have help over the top.
Robertson in Chicago, but
yeah, nothing ridiculous. I mean, Devontae Adams by a long shot, right? So
yeah, I mean, that was a good pick. We liked, when we did the draft, we did like Okudah to the lines. We put Simmons there, but all along we thought Okudah to the lines was a good pick. We just thought maybe the Chargers were going to jump the gun and get Herbert over. They were worried that the Dolphins were going to take Herbert, and turns out they were wrong. We were wrong.
Right, and that's okay. And we had said it before anyways when we did our draft that you've been tanking for Tua, and they're both in different spots where the Chargers need a guy who is not going to get hurt or hurt the team, but a safe guy who he has some potential obviously, but he's not the injury risk that Tua is. Where Miami, they've been so bad for so long, they're looking for a home run. And from everything that their doctors and physicians told them, that Tua is good to go. So I think that it's the right pick. I think that it's obviously the sexiest pick, I think, as far as media coverage and all that. Like Tua to Miami, it's going to sell. So
yeah. And I mean, Herbert to the Chargers, this is a situation where, they're taking to them the best player at that spot, and they needed a quarterback, regardless of his Tyrod starting next year, but getting another quarterback behind him, that where maybe if Tyrod isn't good, you can go to Herbert and you feel like you're not going to be as bad.
Yeah.
So,
and we had said when we were doing our mock that I suggested that they go with Isaiah Simmons here and pick up a quarterback into the second round, or trade in and get a Jordan Love or a Jake Eason or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, they pretty much did that, but they got the better of the quarterbacks. So
yeah, they got the better of quarterbacks and a good linebacker. So
yeah, so kudos to us for calling it kind of in this weird ass draft. So
yeah. So then we got number 4 with the Giants taking the tackle, which we thought they would.
Right.
And that's the right pick for them. And they went with Andrew Thomas. A little questionable as far as how everyone did at the combine, with Wirfs being this freak athlete.
Or even the guy from Louisville was...
Yeah, Mekhi Becton was a freak as well.
Mm-hmm.
Those two guys being freaks, and you mentioned it. Andrew Thomas was on the best offensive line in college football last year, essentially in Georgia, and he was the best player on that offensive line.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes sense. Maybe that was a situation where everyone is overlooking him because the whole offensive line was good.
And you see two guys going in the first round with Isaiah Wilson at 29.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe we're just overlooking Thomas and Wilson because the whole line was good.
Right.
But I mean, if he's, as good as he was in college and the NFL, that's a win.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick. It makes sense there. I'm not mad about it. I was just with those.
It's surprising who went.
Yeah, with those top guys, you can kind of just shuffle them any way you want, and I think that it's a win for those teams either way.
Yeah, it's whoever they wanted. It's whoever that team thought was the best tackle, and clearly the Giants thought Thomas was the best tackle, but that's what you needed. You didn't need Isaiah Simmons as your first pick. That would have been nice, but you drafted a quarterback.
Yeah, protect them. And, I mean, you even see Miami with a little bit of logic where they go and pick the lineman also.
Yep. So then we go into the Panthers and Brown, which I feel like that was a given.
Yeah, we saw that coming, and we talked about it a little bit with the older quarterbacks and just being as big as he is and just being in the way and also athletic as shit. So that makes a lot of sense there. Isaiah Simmons to the Cardinals is kind of a surprise, but I think that when you're there, the tackle makes sense. If they were to go, would have went with Wills or Becton, but
yeah.
I think that if an athlete like Simmons is there, and you can kind of go and build your defense around something like that, I really like that.
Yeah, I think that was the first real surprise of the draft besides Thomas.
It was like a surprise, but it wasn't like a jarring surprise where it's like, what are you doing? It was like, yeah, all right, kind of thing. Like, why wouldn't okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I like the pick a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have liked an offensive lineman, but you went with the best player available.
Right.
I'm not going to hate on that. That's a really good pick. Like you said, you can build that defense around him, and they can still get an offensive lineman later in the draft.
There's still
you're not going to get a Simmons later in the draft.
No.
So that's a really good pick.
Same thing with we kind of just talked about as far as the linemen go, and Will's going to Cleveland. Makes sense.
And C.J. Henderson going to the Jags before that.
Oh yeah. With them losing Boye and trading
Ramsey,
Jalen Ramsey. Yeah, that's just
they get like. So I was listening to NFL radio, while I was working and whatnot, and Florida has put 8 defensive backs into the NFL in like the last 2 years, I think. And this guy is the defensive coordinator at Florida has said he's the best cornerback he's ever worked with.
That's got to be saying something, right?
Yeah, I mean, this guy came in as a freshman, and this is Florida. Florida puts out great defensive backs.
Right.
And this guy came in as a freshman and made all SEC defense. I mean, that's impressive. So that's a really good pick for the Jags. I like that one. And then you went into Wills for Browns. That's another really good pick.
Right, with a super powerful run game already. I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. And it's one of those picks where you're not used to the Browns making the pick that makes sense.
Right.
So kudos for them for doing that. And then that leads us right into 11 and the Jets going Becton over a receiver.
I think that's okay, though, because, I mean, they spent all that damn money on Le'Veon Bell, and their offensive line was really bad. And that dude was searching to try and help the team. Like, if you watch the games, he's getting touches, but he just has nothing to do with it because the defense is on him immediately. Yeah. And I think that going with a really good athlete and this dude's fast as shit too for his size.
Yeah.
So I like the pick there, especially with. I mean, if you spend all that money, you have the rookie or the young quarterback. He's not a rookie anymore. You got the young quarterback, and you spend all that money on the running back. You might as well give some guy to get in the way for them, let them work.
Yeah. So same thing back to back in those situations with the Browns and the Jets. They didn't go out and make a game changer and a sexy pick.
I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it just doesn't have that sex appeal as Henry Ruggs would, but it has the consistency that you want. I mean, this is a move you're hoping to plug those guys in for 10 years,
right,
on that offensive line, and not a lot of teams can say that for receivers. So those are the right picks. We initially had the Jets taking a receiver. I don't think that would have been wrong. But I'm saying, long term, Becton makes more sense than a receiver.
Yeah, and especially as deep as the receivers were, we talked about it before, where right here in the draft is kind of gonna dictate how the whole thing plays out. And there's still really, really who was the last receiver taken? Ayuk. I mean, that's about where we had it.
Yeah, I mean,
but we also had Claypool mixed in there. I mean, we had another couple of receivers mixed in there, and
I mean,
that just kind of that leaves you Mims. You got a lot of guys in the second round that you can go and plug in there.
Yeah,
and we talked about
Higgins.
We talked about the stats the other day as far as first round receivers versus second round receivers. So I'm not mad about it. But talking about receivers, Henry Ruggs to the Raiders was a bit of a surprise, and I was talking to you about it a little bit. Is this the kind of Tyreek Hill effect where people are starting to value that skill set more than your traditional like CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy style of receiver, where they're just solid body guys and maybe longer, or they can go and jump and attack the ball in the air, where they're looking for that yards after the catch, that super fast speed?
I think it's a combination of that, but I also think you have to look at the team we're talking about. We're talking about the Raiders, who were a power run team last year, and if you can have a guy who takes the lid off of that defense, so now all of a sudden that defense, has to play maybe, let's say, 5 yards back.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden your running back has more room to make a move.
Yeah.
And to get your run game going, that helps. And it also helps Waller underneath, right? We talked about getting double teamed. And I mean, Ruggs is a guy who's going to take the lid off the field. And I mean, I like it. I think it's
I'm not mad about it.
To go receiver. It's a surprise to me that he was the first one. I really thought it would have been CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy, but I mean, it makes sense for what the Raiders are going to do. And as we said, they can still go out and get another receiver if they want the second round.
Hang on a second. Okay, so as far as body goes, he's 6 foot, 190 pounds.
Yeah.
That's really close to the exact build of Tyreek Hill. He's a little bit taller. But yeah, I mean, I agree as far as what he brings to the table. It's just I feel like when you think about a number one receiver, they usually fit a certain mold. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the long arms, they got the hops, they can go with the ball in the air. They're good off the line of scrimmage. They can beat guys physically.
Run any route.
It makes sense, like the points you're making. It's just they needed a number one guy, and I don't know if it's Ruggs. Like, I think that Ruggs, if he would have went to, like we talked about, a San Francisco where they can utilize his skills and just get him the ball in a situation where he can succeed, it makes more sense. But we'll see. I mean, I get it as far as what he brings to the table, but I just thought it would be a different guy.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I mean, I like it, and I want to see what they do, but it's kind of surprising that he's the first receiver taken. But, I mean, then again, we got to say it's the Raiders, and the Raiders traditionally have loved receivers with speed.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess we should have saw it coming. Shame on us, right?
I mean, how funny. I thought the whole thing was funny where we're all like, when they take Ruggs before, CeeDee Lamb is there and Jerry Jeudy. And, I mean, I was watching it and I was pretty shocked. And they cut to the video of John Gruden. He's just, like, sitting back with his hands on his head like, fuck yeah, we got him. We got him. Fell right on our laps.
Yeah, I mean,
It was funny because no one, I mean, I don't know. Maybe all the mocks had him going there because some people were talking about San Francisco trading up past Cleveland to take him. Or even, let me see, who else? Or Denver trading up there to get him or something like that. Someone who already has like a number one guy. Or San Francisco, like I said, who can just use him and make him thrive as like a Percy Harvin kind of role.
Add him with Deebo Samuels, and you got...
That's a nice 1-2 punch. Yeah.
You got dudes all over the field.
Yeah. But moving on to San Francisco, man, I personally think that...
Well, we skipped the Bucks.
Oh yeah, sorry, the Bucks. Yeah, okay, the Bucks, man. Tristan Wirfs going there, I think is great.
Yeah, that's a really good pickup for them. I mean, you already got you went out and signed Tom Brady and then traded for Gronkowski this week, and then you added a Tristan Wirfs. Like we knew they were going to go offensive linemen, so they kind of had to be licking their chops whenever.
But this is arguably the best lineman. Like just raw ability. This dude might be the best in the class. Like.
Yeah, so they had to be licking their chops.
Dude, this dude fell to third. Yeah, I mean, you see him trade up to third. Like, they trade up one spot just to play it safe and get this guy.
Yeah, and we thought it was going to be Andrew Thomas falling here, which still would have been good.
I didn't really know what they were. I guess it makes sense now that it's happened, but I was like, they trade up one spot, like, and yeah, it makes sense. I mean, this dude's just such a good athlete. They can plug him in wherever they need to. If he needs a little help, put Gronk on the edge with him and chip a guy, and then. That guy's just not going to be in that play at all. Nope. But so yeah, I like it quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Like if you would have went into this offseason, right? After the way Tampa Bay finished, they're optimistic. You're probably thinking, all right, so we just got to pick up a running back, fill this hole and this hole, and we're cool. Jameis cuts down on his interceptions, and we're chilling. If I would have told any Tampa Bay fan, like, what is it, like a month ago, you're going to have arguably the best quarterback of all time, which is a pretty easy argument. You have arguably the greatest tight end of all time, which is a tougher argument.
But still, it's
still an argument. And you have arguably the best tackle in the next draft coming to your team. Like, what? It's so crazy. It's just happened. It's happened so fast and it's so strange. Like, I don't know. But yeah, we were talking about San Francisco, man.
What a draft they had.
I think, yes, I agree. I think they won day one, even though they came in with only 2 picks, and they traded one of their better defensive players to get in there. But I think they did such a good job. So it felt like a poker move to me as far as trading one spot with the Bucks, where you get an extra pick, and they're probably thinking Kinlaw the whole time, but they're like, I mean, Wirfs is right there, man. We run the ball a lot, and we move people around a lot, and he's gonna come in here and just do things. And I mean, that makes a lot of sense. If Tristan Wirfs falls to San Francisco, that is a dream fit almost.
Yeah. Now we're saying that maybe the 49ers had offers from other teams. Maybe the Dolphins were trying to get up in the 49er spot so they could take Tristan Wirfs. And maybe the Dolphins are calling the 49er, or the Bucks are calling the 49ers, like, hey, are the Dolphins in on it? 49ers like, yeah. They're like, all right, we're going to offer you a better second-round pick than the Dolphins.
Right, you don't know what what their scheming is there, man, but
I mean,
John Lynch has just been such a good GM the last few years,
dude,
man.
He's done such a good job.
Yes.
He finagled the Bears with the whole Mitch Trubisky thing.
Yes.
And then now he trades DeForest Buckner to the Colts for a first-round pick and picks up younger DeForest Buckner.
And he basically gets a free second-round pick, right? Like, just because he did that. He just finessed a second-round pick out of the system.
Yes. And, I mean, he does that. And then we look at later at 25, they get Ayuk, who's essentially...
He's basically Henry Ruggs, but just not in the SEC. Like, it's a...
Exactly.
Yes.
So we're talking about the Chargers, who they did what we thought they should do.
Yeah.
Well, the 49ers...
The San Francisco... They didn't do what they thought they'd do because they did it better. Like, we underestimated...
yes.
We underestimated
we were saying you should take Ruggs, and then...
At the back end, you go with...
They would have had 25. Who did we say they had?
It didn't go chalk, bro. It got weird at the back end. It got weird.
Oh, they took Gross Matos.
Yeah, which is fine. Draft. Yeah, that's
which is okay, but Kinlaw's better than him, right?
Right, yeah. And
Ayuk is not that much worse than Henry Ruggs, as far as we know.
Yeah.
So...
He ran a 4.26, bro. He's cool. They're going to figure the same shit out with him.
Yes, so I really
and then they finesse the second-round pick, man. Like, that's just some gangster shit right there. Like...
I love it. 49ers, so far, like we said, they got...
It's just so funny to me. It was so good.
I think they're number 1, but I think there's another team we'll get to later who came in number 2, and I think it's closer than you think. But
I mean, the Chargers have got to be close.
Yeah, but there's another team. We'll get to it.
You think you think it's Green Bay?
No. Oh, I can't wait for that.
So Denver going Jerry Jeudy. I love it. I think it's a very good fit. We had Justin Jackson going there.
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson.
I don't know who Justin Jackson is. Isn't that the actor?
I don't know, dude. I'm probably another basketball player. I keep doing that dumb shit.
It is. Justin Jackson played at UNC. You're right. So they take Jerry Jeudy, and that's a good pick for them. I like it. I was worried that the Broncos were going to reaching for a receiver, and look at that. The second best receiver in the draft falls to them.
I mean, it's arguable though because they had what a lot of people thought was the first best receiver fall to them. So
yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's just what they like. I mean, they got their number one guy. He looks like he plays the part. Noah Fant came on late. I mean, they won 4 or 5 games at the end of the year. They add Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
And then Jerry Jeudy's got to be as good a Robin as there is that was drafted. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, you can argue the hell out of that, but
which we'll get to that.
I like it a lot, man. You're just starting to really complete that team.
Yeah, and then we're going to see, this is what we said going into our mock draft, you get to see what Drew Lock has.
Right.
You get to see if he's your dude.
Yeah, so just surround him with talent.
Because he's got receivers now.
There's no excuse. Philip Lindsay's been doing it. He's got the receivers around him. Melvin Gordon's solid.
Yeah, I mean, if he can't get it done, then
Noah Fant's a high pick last year. I mean, it's there. Show me what you got, or next year we'll figure it out. I mean, even at that, maybe in day 2 or 3 they go with a late quarterback, just in case. Which I wouldn't be surprised. It would also make sense to kind of just like protect your investment as far as Jerry Jeudy goes.
Yep.
AJ Terrell to Atlanta makes a lot of sense.
Makes sense. What we had them taking Henderson.
Yeah, but it's because we had everybody starting to fall over the place just because of we were a little higher on Simmons, and we thought obviously we don't have the resources or the knowledge that Miami Dolphins have, so we had Tua falling a little bit.
But yeah, we got AJ Terrell in there. This is another good pick for the Falcons. I mean, we mentioned it in previous ones. That's probably the best division for receivers, right?
Yeah.
You better have a damn good cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go up against Mike Evans and Godwin and now Gronk.
Yeah.
And you throw in Mike Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. And, yeah, you better have a good corner.
Yeah, I feel it. I like it. He's a physical guy, too. Like they were saying, he's a little raw. But I mean, you want to have a guy like a kind of pit bull kind of dude who's not afraid of those big names that he's going to be standing in front of. So
because he's going to have big names standing in front of him.
Yeah, for sure. Like probably two or top 5 in the league are all in that division.
At least. I mean, at least top 10, but maybe top 5, arguably top 5.
I mean, Mike Evans has had 1,000 yards every year.
Yeah.
Is he the one that's going to fall out of that for you? Because he's had 1,000 yards for 7 straight seasons. That dude does not get the respect he deserves.
He had Jameis throwing to him, so yeah, you're right. He doesn't get it.
Yeah, so half of the passes that are going to him are interceptions anyways, and he gets 1,000 yards every damn year.
Yep. I mean, that dude basically got Johnny Football drafted, right?
That dude, he's so fucking good. Give him some love.
All right.
Go on his Instagram. Let him know we sent you. Be like, yo, Mike, Venturos Podcast said what's up. Congratulations on being you. CeeDee Lamb to the Cowboys, dude. This might not be the shock of the draft, but it's got to be close because
I think it's more of a shock because of how far he fell.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right? And then Jerry Jeudy, everybody was like, they were going to be going like right next to each other, and they did, but we were thinking it was going to be, 8 picks?
11, 12?
Yeah, you saw in some mocks that people were reaching. I mean, I thought it would have been super cool if CeeDee Lamb ended up at Arizona with his old coach and his old quarterback with, Larry Fitzgerald and DeAndre Hopkins mentoring him, dude. That would have been crazy sweet. But Isaiah Simmons, you can't pass up on that. But for him to fall 9 spots all the way down to 17, that's nuts.
Yeah. And to your point, you can't pass up on Simmons. I don't think the Cowboys could pass up on Lamb here.
No.
From everything I read, CeeDee Lamb was one of their top, I think, 7 players in the draft.
Right.
And if he falls all the way there, and yes, I mean, so I went back and looked it up too, and we talked about cornerback as a need. Well, they still have Joe Awuzie
Mm-hmm.
and Jordan Lewis, who both played pretty good last year, and they brought back Anthony Brown, who was solid the year before. So I mean, their corners aren't bad. Yes, you lose Byron Jones, but your corners aren't great.
I mean, I was thinking they went defensive front, but you don't love Clavon, so I mean, I just thought that what they added in the offseason is super inconsistent and super old. Like, dude had what I can't remember dude's name.
Gerald McCoy.
Joe McCoy's getting older. He's proven, but he's getting older. But was it Alden Smith? He hasn't played in 5 years, bro.
No.
Like what?
So I mean,
he's gonna be one of your starting defensive linemen. Like,
well, so you have Alden Smith and Randy Gregory, who are huge question marks. We have no clue what you're getting from them. So your one defensive end spot, yes, questions. But you did bring in a Gerald McCoy, who's a veteran middle of the line guy. You brought in a Dontari Poe, who's also a veteran middle of the line guy. So now your middle's clogged up. If that frees up Vander Esch and what's the other dude's name? I can't think of it. Jalen Smith.
yeah,
If that frees up them, that helps you out. I mean, you still got DeMarcus Lawrence. And, I mean, as we saw, some defensive ends dropped. I mean,
yeah,
the Cowboys could pick up a defensive end.
yeah. Gross Matos is still on the. He's still out there. We thought he'd be taken a little higher.
And from what, the other thing which made a good sense, or what made a lot of sense watching the draft is the Cowboys had to take CeeDee Lamb because he was the best available.
I don't
But
disagree
also-
with it. It's just what I was trying to express to you was that offense wasn't the issue last year, so I was surprised that they didn't, because they looked pretty damn happy. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the dude could end, like I said, the dude could end up being Dak Prescott's guy for 10 years. You could forget that Amari Cooper even existed in Dallas, depending on what kind of success him and Dak have. Like,
Yeah.
it's that kind of possibility. I'm not disputing that, but what I was arguing was that you guys were the number 6 offense in the league last year, and you were 8-8. Like, and
Yeah,
your
but I think-
division you guys were in wasn't great. So I mean, it's just that's what I was expressing. But
Yeah.
I get it. Like, think about your fantasy draft, right? Say you go receiver, running back, and you're like, all right, I better start looking quarterback. And then the next, like, someone crazy who doesn't belong falling to you because of something stupid. He's just sitting there, and you're like, dude, I really need a quarterback. But shit, I can pick up Mike Thomas right now or something like that, or
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson or whoever it is, Russell Wilson, something like it's.
Yeah.
Or you wanted to wait on quarterback? Like you had like a cool game plan, like I'll pick up quarterback late. We can patch it up here. Maybe go with like a smaller name kind of dude, like the Eagles had ended up doing.
Yeah.
But the
see,
sexy
that-
name's there, and he's so good. And when he has talent around him, you saw how good he was in Oklahoma. So I mean,
Yeah. I think that's the other point too is the Eagles were going to take a receiver, and they're the next team to take a receiver, right?
yeah,
You can't pass up on CeeDee Lamb and let him go to the Eagles. It just beats you 2 times a year. It'd
Right.
be the difference in the division.
And I messaged you. I thought that the Eagles would have been trying to make a move somewhere to move up once they saw that Ruggs had gone to the Raiders, and that those two are falling.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I
Once
thought
you
they
see
might have.
Judy
Yeah, I thought they might have moved up to. But that's the thing. You don't know how in love these guys are with their picks.
Yeah.
So like when they see certain things falling a certain way, like as far as Atlanta and San Francisco making that move, or worse falling all the way down to 13.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of different variables. So, yeah. I mean, I definitely get it. It's tough to pass on them, but I just think that offense wasn't your guys' issue. I mean, if you guys can score another couple touchdowns, you don't lose a few games, so you're straight.
Yeah, I just think that there's still some good cornerbacks and good safeties left in the draft too.
There was literally
And they
no
could-
safeties taken,
Yep. So all safeties are there.
so you're chilling. And I think, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4 corners?
Yep.
4 corners, and one of them is projected by a lot of people to not go to the late second, third round. So,
Yep.
and Damon Arnett. So then, Austin Jackson to Miami makes sense. Like protect your
Makes sense.
investment. We talked about it.
Yep.
That's a good move. I like that a lot.
Arnett to the Raiders, kind of our first reach, right?
I felt like a reach, but I don't know. There were some people that were higher on it, and I was making a joke earlier talking to somebody, and I'm like, dude, does Mel Kiper get paid to hype these guys up? Like, he's got to, like, low-key be getting, like, some money slid under the table by an agent so that he can just talk his ass up. Because there was an interview he had with Jeff Okuda the other day, and he was like, yo, what's going on with my boy Arnett? Like, why you guys got him so low? Like, why are you sleeping on him, this and that? And then Mel Kiper's like, I'm not. I think he's late first round, early second round kind of talent, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, is he? I mean, he was cool, but Jeff Okuda was definitely the better, like, as an Ohio State fan who watched more than most of their games last year, I thought that they always have high DBs go, but it always feels like they get fucking roasted. It just doesn't, like, they're playing teams that they shouldn't be getting the ball thrown around on them on, and it's just, like, not making sense to me.
Like Eli Apple.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot of stuff like that, and that's kind of it too, right? Where, like, their DBs are cool, but they're not super good. Like, Bradley Roby is fine in Denver, but he's super sweet? Like, I don't know. But, that one is definitely a head scratch. Like, do you see that guy as your number one? He wasn't even the number one in Ohio State? Like,
especially with some of the guys available, like Gladney going a little later, Diggs still available, Johnson. I mean,
I thought from LSU, man, he was super good. I'm surprised that he didn't fall off the board yet.
Yep.
Moving on.
We got Chasen falling to the Jags, which
that defensive front is sweet. Good for them, right? Like, they got they're looking good. I like that. Well, not even that. Okay, they didn't. I thought they took Derek Brown. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
No, but those are two good things, right? So we talked about you got to weigh your options as far as when you're picking it, but they have so many picks. Like, do you want coverage or do you want the pass rush? And we'll take both.
Yeah,
I like it.
Job.
Yeah.
Good picks.
Yes. And good for them to stick into their guns, man, as far as, like, Gardner Minshew. Like, I thought they might have taken Jordan Love here. He's kind of mixed it up, like, putting pressure. We talked about putting pressure on Gardner Minshew. But good for them because their defense is bare bones right now, man.
Yes, they lost a lot, and they could be losing another piece. The defensive end they tagged wants out, so.
Yeah.
Let's see. So
Does defensive end have that kind of pull, though? Like a Le'Veon Bell. Like, Le'Veon Bell was just so good before he got tagged that you could, like, he had that kind of pull. Does a defensive end have that kind of, like, I'm going to sit out, I'm not playing?
I guess not.
I don't think it does, man.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Maybe it does. Maybe they trade him tomorrow. We'll see. Where are we at? Jalen Reagor. I'm not mad at this guy. He feels like, from what they showed, I'll be honest, I had no clue about this dude.
Nope.
He wasn't even on my radar. I know a few of my buddies had texted me and they said to check this dude out, and then they also were really, really high on Ayuk. But this dude ran like a 4.26. Like, this dude just feels like Deshaun Jackson 2.0.
Yep.
So I'm not mad about it. I mean, you saw how good Deshaun Jackson, like, kind of was reinvigorated, and, like, he looked good when he got back there until he got inevitably hurt, which it seems like he's always kind of getting a nagging injury. But he's getting older, so that's going to happen. So I was honestly expecting Justin Jefferson here with an older Alshon and Deshaun Jackson still being able to do things, but they have the tight end, so they don't really need the guy in the slot. So I like Jalen Reagor going there.
Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, I like it a lot. I think the only thing, I don't know, like, I like it, but it's also kind of like we were talking to your boy Ruben, and Alshon Jeffrey might not be there, or they don't know if he's going to be there that long, and he's getting older.
Right.
I feel like they kind of need that possession guy or the number one, and I don't know if he's the number one.
Sure, but that's the argument, right? Like, we were just talking about it with Henry Ruggs. Like, the number one guy for so long is fit like a mold. Like, Jalen Reagor's 5'11", 195. He's an inch taller and 15 pounds heavier than Tyreek Hill, and he's fast, like, from what they were showing us. So I mean
I get that.
I think that maybe the mold is changing where it's. I mean, those guys are still going to be effective, obviously. Like, look at your fantasy football guys. Like, Mike Evans is huge. DeAndre Hopkins is huge. Or DeAndre Hopkins isn't huge, but he plays big. Like, he'll go get the ball. Yeah, but then the smaller, like Tyreek Hill, there's just not a lot of Tyreek Hills out there.
No, and again, they're built kind of like in Kansas City too, with Zach Ertz and Goddard, to be, I guess, the number one receivers. Those guys can run the routes in the middle of the field, and now you got Rager to run the deep routes. Like, I get it. I mean, that part of it makes sense to me. But what happens when you want to get that ball like that fade, or I don't know, it just, with Justin Jefferson there.
Well, the return guys, man, like we talked about Antonio Brown and Tyreek Hill, like they're both return guys coming in. Yeah. And that's what this guy is. Like, he had, I think, 6 or 7 returns last year, they said.
Yeah.
He falls right in there, bro. Like, it just, like, he, like, kind of fits that mold. And we've talked about those guys. Like, Antonio Brown didn't blow up on the scene, but when he started going, that dude was gone. Like, as far as just his production and everything. And Tyreek Hill's the same way. Unless he's, like, got, like, a little, like, last year he got hurt. But yeah, the last couple of years, this dude, like, Tyreek Hill has just been so good. He's just so solid. So I think that, maybe it's because Justin Jefferson's the bigger guy. So it just, maybe they're valuing it a little differently. Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, what's their coach's name?
Doug Peterson.
He was with Andy Reid, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he was OC in Kansas City.
Yeah, so, I mean, you can see the mold is still there. Like, Zach Ertz, Travis Kelce. Yeah.
Kansas City, yeah.
With a better defense, you could argue.
Yeah.
Maybe not better safeties. I really like Tyrann Mathieu. But, yeah, you can kind of see what they're doing. I think it could work. I mean, it works for Andy. Maybe Andy got on the horn with him, and he's like, yo, dude, we're going Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You should go get this dude because he's the shit. And he's like, yo, dude.
Let's meet the Super Bowl next year.
He's like, Andy, I got you, dog. We'll get to the Super Bowl, and then we'll shave points so you guys can go back to back. Minnesota, we kind of complained about it, but now that it's played out, as far as I'm going Justin Jefferson and then the corner, I'm not mad about it. I like it. I heard Michael Irvin complaining about it in the broadcast where he was saying that him and Adam Thielen are both slot guys.
Yeah.
He's young, man. Go teach him. Tell his ass to get outside and do something else. Like, you got the hands, you got the footwork to be inside and play the slot. I think that you can get him outside. And even at that, Adam Thielen's like 30, bro. Tell him to figure something out. Like, go change your game, bro. You're going to be retired in 3 years anyways. Like,
I think this is the other team I thought had a really good draft. I mean, I like Justin Jefferson. I mean, this dude put up really good numbers against really good teams.
Yeah, they only played good teams last year.
Yeah, and look at the numbers he put up against Clemson. AJ Terrell went ahead of him, right?
Yeah.
Look at the numbers he's putting up against him.
Yeah.
Look at the numbers he put up against,
Alabama's.
Diggs and McKinney are both going to go from Alabama at some point, probably in day 2. And look at these numbers he's putting up. I mean, the dude was really good last year.
I mean, they played Florida last year.
C.J. Henderson, exactly.
I mean, they played. That's the other thing they said, bro. Like when you look at it and start really kind of making your way down the draft board, or the first round.
I mean, this dude was
14 SEC players.
Yeah, and this dude, they said this guy was running routes against Patrick Peterson as a team, like practicing against him. If that doesn't get you prepared for playing against good DBs, I don't know what will.
The only thing that I could say is that Joe Burrow's so young and so he lets the ball go at such a good point for the receivers. Yeah. Like as soon as they release. Can Kirk Cousins do that? Like he didn't he didn't do it last year.
He has his moments, right?
He does. I mean, but then
he's really good.
Obviously those two receivers were more happy with Case Keenum than they were with Kirk Cousins.
Which is wild because
it's got to say something, right?
Kirk Cousins has got to be better than Case Keenum. But
you would think, but is he? I don't know, man.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see. He should have room to work though with Dalvin Cook playing as well as he did last year if he can stay healthy. Yep. The Chargers.
Kyle Rudolph kind of came on at the end of the year too, so they kind of refound him a little bit. So hopefully, but
I mean the weapons are there. He fell off. The only reason he fell off is because they weren't throwing him the ball. It's not like he had a decline in anything. I don't know. They're a weird team, but yes, hats off to them. I think this is a good pick.
So here's one that we said. Jordan Love fell to the Patriots, and the Patriots traded out of that pick. So I don't know if that says more about the Patriots or more about Jordan Love. But the Chargers trade into it.
I love
it. And again, this is a team that did what we thought they would. You said
we did what they thought they'd do.
Yeah, get you a linebacker, in Simmons early, and you can get a Jake Fromm or Eason late. But guess what? They got the better.
They did it better. Yeah, that's their job.
They got a linebacker who's arguably just as good as Simmons, right?
Right, and he's more positioned. Like that's his spot. Like,
yeah,
I'm not mad about it. If I'm a Chargers fan, dude, like,
happy. That's a good draft. I like it.
You can see how I just sit around and talk about this for fun, and they do it for a profession. Like, it worked out very well for them. Those are probably two of the bigger holes. Offensive line, they kind of swayed away from that, but there's more guys in the second round that are serviceable. Yeah, I like it a lot. Let this dude just go and clean up whatever that front seven or those front 3 or 4 guys can't get to.
Yep.
And then your secondary is so good, man. This team is scary as shit for real. Like, for the Chiefs having to play them twice a year.
Yeah.
They look good, and we'll see what they end up doing as far as Herbert or Tyrod. But if the Raiders they did not win the day. If the Niners didn't win the day, then I think that the Chargers got to be a prime candidate.
Yep, I think so. So then we go into Ruiz for the Saints. Again, this is not one of those big, sexy picks.
No, just keep that thing clogged up. You just saw...
It's a good pick.
You just see Derek Brown go to Carolina.
Yep.
You see Atlanta... or no, who was the other one?
Terrible.
Who else won it? Shit. No, they're chilling. Okay, but yeah. So you see Derek Brown go to Carolina. And how are you going to match that? You got a decent offensive line, but you just sure up the middle with Cesar Ruiz, man. I love it. Just keep Drew safe. Keep him safe, man. Let that window stay open as long as it can be, which has probably only got what 2 years maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting close, man. That's why we were
2
thinking
to 3 years at best.
That's why we were thinking a little, as far as Jordan Love here maybe or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Next, the Niners from Minnesota, Brandon Ayuk. We talked about the same thing the Chargers did, man. Where they did what we thought they'd do, but they just did it better, and they got a free second-round pick for it. So I like it a lot. This dude is going to be good for them. We saw them in the Super Bowl and all year getting touches for people that needed it. Just the run game by committee or production by committee. Brandon Ayuk, I think he's going to thrive with the Niners, but in a different way than maybe what you would expect, especially when we had him going to Green Bay.
Kind of like again, they're kind of built like the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
Running back by committee, a good tight end, and Greg Kittle. He's more of your number one receiver. And then you throw in a Deebo Samuel and Ayuk, or Hardman and Tyreek Hill light.
Yeah.
And it works for the Chiefs. So,
but their run game is so much better than ours. Like, it's not close.
Yeah.
Like, their primary thing is the run game.
Yeah, and you look at it, and you have Oakland going to the style with Waller and Jacobs and Ruggs now.
Yeah.
You have
Denver.
The Eagles going to the style.
Denver's similar with Noah Fant and oh my God, what's the receiver? The dude they have had?
Sutton and Jerry.
Yeah, Cortland Sutton. They added Jerry Jeudy. That kind of looks a little like a young, maybe a young Chiefs offense.
Yeah.
With Sammy Watkins.
So many teams going to this style.
The Chargers got. The Chargers are a little different, right? They got your more conventional receivers, but Hunter Henry, he's good.
Yeah, so many teams are going to this style, and the 49ers did a good job trading away Buckner, and you get a young Buckner, and then you get another receiver, like we wanted him to early, and you got a good guy late, so good job to them. Now to the pick that we were dying to talk about.
Back to back.
I love that pick for
back to back head scratchers, bro. Like, I don't get it. You see Tom Brady and Drew Brees playing until like into their 40s. Mm-hmm. So you got 5 more years of Aaron Rodgers potentially.
Yeah.
And this is your move, bro? Like,
you
what?
Go get Jordan Love. Like, no one saw this coming. Of the teams we thought could take a quarterback in the first round, and we thought could take Jordan Love.
Do you think
maybe you have the Raiders, which is another question. The Saints taking him we didn't like because you have Drew Brees.
Help him out, and they did.
For the same reason we hated this for the Saints, I hate it even more for the Packers.
Bro,
because you got to think Rodgers.
They have even less weapons and probably a worse defense than the Saints, right?
Because we said it all last season during the playoffs and going into it. There were a couple teams in the NFC that scared you. The teams that didn't were the Seahawks and the Packers.
Right, because they didn't have anything. They got their little 1-2 punch in the backfield, which is they're kind of like possession receivers out of the backfield.
Yep.
And then you have one guy to look out for as far as Devontae Adams, and that's it. And your move is Jordan Love, like, bro.
And Aaron Rodgers apparently already hates the move.
Do you think they're sitting there and they're like, they have like their board, like their dry erase board, and Brandon Ayuk goes right before him, and like, ah, shit. Well, I guess now we take Jordan Love, right? Yeah, he's on the board, so it just makes sense. Like,
or do you think they had like names in a hat, and it was like, oh, who are we picking today? Oh, Jordan Love. What position does he play?
I'll be honest. If I was picking names out of a hat, and I got Jordan Love, I wouldn't be mad. Like, I mean, he's cool. It doesn't make sense to me because I think that the Aaron Rodgers to Brett Favre thing was so different because Brett Favre had so many miles on him, and you could see him slowing down. And Aaron Rodgers was Aaron Rodgers was like a really high prospect, right? He just started to fall because of the way the draft went.
Yep.
Jordan Love isn't that guy.
Nope.
Like, get the man a receiver. Get him anything. Get him anything. Like, attack, like Isaiah. Oh, dude, I just don't know. Like,
I don't either. It's so shocking. And reports are that Aaron Rodgers is so mad because they told him they were going to get him weapons, and yet they draft his backup and his replacement.
In the first round, bro. Like, it's not even that they drafted him.
They traded up for him.
Yeah, that's it too, yes.
What is that? Like, are they going to, like...
I forgot about that.
Does this now put Aaron Rodgers in New England? Have we been waiting for Tom Brady's replacement all season for it to be Aaron Rodgers? Because if that's it, are we not...
I would much rather see him...
a little more?
I'd much rather see him go anywhere else. Like, I mean, they don't even have shit. Like, if you're him, why would you want to go there? They don't have a whole lot.
No, I mean, I get that. But if you're him, why wouldn't you want to go to be with Bill Belichick?
Because Bill Belichick's going to tell him to shut the fuck up. I think that he's kind of a diva.
He is very much so a diva. I'm just saying.
I don't think... I mean, you see him, like, sitting on the sideline, kind of, like, looking around and pouting and shit. Like, Tom Brady was always yelling at people, or pissed at himself, or throwing a tablet, or just glaring, or he was cheering. It was, like, he was the ultimate competitor, bro. And I think that Aaron Rodgers has kind of turned into a diva. And I think that if he goes there... he just gets dug into, and it's not going to be fun for him.
Yeah, isn't it crazy, too, that this is a thing that people didn't like about Cam, and Aaron Rodgers does exactly it.
Yes.
What Cam does, but people love him.
I mean, I love Cam, so, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I do, too. I'm just saying people love Aaron Rodgers, and he does essentially the same thing that Cam Newton does.
Let Aaron Rodgers walk, bro. Get some picks for him. Get, like, a lot of picks for him, and then sign Cam.
Yeah, I mean... Dude, you could trade him. I mean, who wouldn't?
That'd be dope. I'd be happy.
You just drafted Jordan Love. You're not taking another quarterback.
Yeah, but I just want my man to find a team.
Dude, I don't know, man. I'm just... Love to Green Bay is the shocker of the draft.
The second probably biggest shocker of the draft. I don't think Henry Ruggs is that big of a shocker. I mean, he's a talented player, so it just depends on what they're looking for, and I don't know what they're looking for.
Just more of a shock that he went above Jerry Jeudy and
right, not the fact that he went as high as he went. And some people had him going higher, and I wouldn't have been surprised if someone traded up into 10 and picked him. But I think that Jordan Brooks going before Patrick Queen's a bit of a head scratcher too. I thought Patrick Queen was a hell of a player, and I thought that he might have been the anchor and the heir apparent to Bobby Wagner since he got that far. And the Hawks went with he's an outside linebacker, right? So he's like an edge rusher, or is he an inside linebacker?
Dude, I don't even know. I didn't know about this guy until they drafted him.
I think they said that he was like, I don't know, man. The Seahawks are always doing weird shit. Like, well, he had 224 tackles in college, which is pretty damn good. Or 360 total. Yeah. 6.5 sacks. I mean, that's fine. Like, that's cool. But, like, didn't you just watch what we watched all college? Like, they were the best team all season, and it wasn't close.
Yeah, he says it's an outside linebacker. He can play outside or inside. I don't know, man.
I mean, Patrick Queen effectively played 1.5 seasons, and he had 131 tackles. I don't know. It's a head scratcher to me. I think that.
I mean, on ESPN's thing, they have Jordan Brooks as the 92 overall ranked prospect, the number 6 at his position, and a 70 grade. And Patrick Queen is the number 1 at his position, the 21 overall prospect, and a 90 grade. Again, those mean nothing. If
it's
Brooks
still the perception, though, right? Like,
yeah, if Brooks is serviceable and he does his job and he's there for a long time, and that's who they like and he fits their system better, cool, good for you. I mean, you're picking low enough in the draft where you're at 27 where you're not a top 5 team where you need him to be a top 5 player. You just need him to do his job.
I mean, that's the thing, too. Like, maybe he goes in there, and I was talking about an heir apparent to Bobby Wagner. Maybe Bobby Wagner grooms him up a little bit, man. They have some older players still, and maybe they just kind of grind this dude into a diamond. And that could happen.
It could, but Patrick Queen made the interception at the halftime in the Alabama game.
Yeah.
That was huge. And then he was all over the field against Clemson, shutting down screens and run plays. And
the dude's pursuit is just so good. His play recognition is solid as shit. Like, him going to Baltimore is scary. That's a dream fit for them, right? Like, him falling to them.
CJ Mosley.
Him falling to them has got to be, like, close to the same as, like, CeeDee Lamb. Like, it's so... Yeah. It's so, like, they're so happy. They needed it. He fell to him. He could arguably be the best middle linebacker in the whole draft. So, yeah, kudos to them. Good job. You guys will probably win the division again next year because your division's not great. But that's not why they couldn't generate any offense in the playoffs.
Because they don't have an outside guy.
It's okay. We'll figure it out. There's still, 6 more rounds to go.
Yeah, and there's still some, like we said, there's still some receivers. I mean, there's T. Higgins would be a good fit there. Pittman would be solid. Mims. Yeah. So, yeah, they got choices.
They filled the hole. I'm happy with it. They did well. And they brought in Calais Campbell, so they're just beefing up that line, man. That front 7. So, Isaiah Wilson to the Titans, I like it. They're going to run the ball, run behind this guy. Very good.
Like we said with Andrew Thomas, that offensive line was the best in college football. Mm-hmm. Maybe Wilson just gets overlooked because they were all so good.
Right.
But they're also good for a reason. So, I mean, yeah, good for them.
And then Miami, I like this pick here. Noah Igbinoghene?
Yep, something like that.
Igbinoghene. That sounds right. Say it fast and normal. Noah Igbinoghene. That's close.
Sure.
That seems.
It's got to be. I'm not saying it. I'm not messing it up.
Hell no. You were saying Idris weird earlier.
That's the thing.
No, yeah, but you say it's strange. But I mean, we also speak differently. So.
I'm from the South.
Yeah, but yours was like Idris or some weird shit.
Idris.
That's the one. Yeah, that's ugh.
That's his name.
Idris.
Jesus.
Elba is a good actor. Yeah, this makes sense. You started checking the box on offense. You still got some of those running backs really kind of came on at the end of the year. The receivers started looking good. I mean, Devontae Parker was solid all season. And then even their tight end. Their tight end was nice last year, toward the end of the year. So, you've for the most part your top tier things are kind of all checked. So I don't mind it. This makes sense to me.
You still get Xavier Howard back next year, so now he goes on the opposite side, and you add in Byron Jones. So now all of a sudden, your secondary was a weakness. Your secondary is a strength.
And guess what? They turn around in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 picks. They have 8 picks. They're up again, so they're chilling.
And
they do what? They go running back or safety.
Yep.
Pick up a safety because you didn't know what the hell.
Every safety is still available. So
every safety is still available, and you traded away from Minka Fitzpatrick because he was kind of those, I'm a good player, but where do I go kind of thing. And
do I play corner? Do I play safety? Yep.
Yeah, so there's options there, and you can see that Miami's starting to have a good-looking draft ahead of them. But just on the day, it wasn't as... I mean, Miami did have a good day still. Like, they get the cornerback, they get the quarterback that they like, and they get an offensive tackle to protect him. Yeah, like, I like it. It just wasn't as neat as...
the 49ers.
The Niners, just the mob boss, man. The mob boss out there doing his thing. Yep. Jeff Gladney to Minnesota makes sense. Like we talked about, they lost Diggs and they lost Xavier Howard.
Xavier Rhodes.
Xavier Howard. I don't. There's so many fucking names, dude. I'm so tired.
Rhodes. Howard plays for the Dolphins. Rhodes.
Yeah, you just said it, so you confused me. It's all gravy. Anyways, they got a corner to replace the guy they don't have anymore, so his name is totally irrelevant.
Yeah, it's a good pick. I mean, this is a team that I thought the Vikings had a good draft too.
Yes,
like a good first round.
All things considered, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got a good receiver that you needed, and you got a good cornerback.
Yeah.
Good job. Now your boys.
Oh my God! Yes, I called it. I said it.
When it was coming up, you said that, and when it was coming up, I'm like, it's got to be Hilaire Edwards, right? Because he just
Clyde Edwards-Hilaire, bro. Yes, yeah. Clyde Edwards-Hilaire or J.K. Dobbins, man, and I would have been so happy because he looks and he feels right. He feels like a Kareem Hunt or a oh my God, LaShawn McCoy. Brian Westbrook, yeah, like he's got some more body than Westbrook, I think. I mean, he'll go after a guy and get those extra yards, but dude, he's just so shifty. I love it. Oh my God. And that was the thing we were talking about, like not even just from like a player standpoint, but like just from like a disposition, like, and in the round, you can go and maybe get a cornerback tomorrow or something else like that. But for the Chiefs and for what they need, and as far as the way the running backs are valued nowadays, you want to get that fifth-year player option for the first round.
Yeah.
So for what the Chiefs need, and for the way Andy Reid done things traditionally, as far as wanting that number one dude, go get him. There he is. Take him. There you go. Now nobody else can have him, and they can all fight over whoever's left tomorrow. I love it.
Yeah. And the reason I love the pick is because Andy Reid has generally always completely flipped the script on, you want to run the ball the first 2 downs and then you want to pass it on the third if you're not in a first down. He does not give a shit if it's first, second, or third down. He's going to pass it whenever he wants and he's going to run it whenever
And now here's the proper threat. Like Damian Williams is fine, but Damian Williams is fine for like 7 or 8 games.
Yep.
Like when you have a short sample size of him, he does great. But he's getting older. He's 29, almost 30. That's an old man for the running back position.
Yep. And you add in another target, another weapon for Mahomes to play with, to have. I mean,
you're going to start to see like the real evolution of Patrick Mahomes. Because I talked about it 2 years ago when they lost to the Patriots in overtime. I was like, his problem is that on first and second down, he doesn't hit those checkdowns. He's sitting there thinking, that's fine. I have another play to drop this 40-yard bomb or this get it past the 6, 20, 30, whatever. But last year he started changing it up a little bit, and we saw that when he got hurt, the defense started playing better. So then you saw them winning those closer and closer games. And then this kind of just looks like a Tom Brady, like a better version of a Tom Brady-style running back where he's just, yo, dude, drop the ball here. I'm going to get 15, 20 yards real quick.
I'm going to make this linebacker miss on this cut.
Yep.
And then the safety's not going to get me. So
no, because he's way downfield playing with Tyreek Hill. Like, just give me the ball.
Or Hardman.
Yeah, or whoever, because they have so many guys. I wouldn't be surprised if they go with another receiver tomorrow. Like, Andy Reid is a mad scientist, and I love it.
I mean, why not? Why not go with another receiver? Your defense was serviceable last year, and if teams can't score, like we saw in the playoffs last year, it didn't matter what the Chiefs were down.
Yeah, the Texans.
You still have to stop them. Like, you still have to stop that offense. And, maybe to that point, maybe that's what the Cowboys are saying too. Like, okay, cool, yeah, our defense isn't great, but guess what? We're going to be able to hang 35 almost any given Sunday. So unless you can do that, good luck.
My argument to that is that we just talked about the mold, how people are maybe starting to build their teams. I don't think they have the underneath guy with how often, and I've talked about it as far as chemistry and why I think Tyreek Hill is one of the better. Like I think I could argue him into the top 3 receivers in the league. But we talked about it as far as chemistry, where those guys are coming back to the ball and helping Mahomes when he's extending plays, and how often and how efficient. Like, dude, you've seen so many dumbass plays where he just flicks a ball, and Travis Kelce's just right there, and then he just backs up in between 3 guys and gets a touchdown or a first down.
Yep.
Like, he just sits in like coverage so well. Like, Travis Kelce is the uncommon denominator, I guess.
Like how Tony Romo and Jason Witten were.
Right. Yeah. So if they had these pieces with a Jason Witt in there, yes, I'm totally on board with you. Maybe one of these receivers or that guy though. You never know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing. But winners and losers of the day. So we obviously already talked about. For me, number one's got to be the Niners, right?
49ers, number 1.
Niners at 1. Close, like a 2A, 2B for me is the Chargers and the Dolphins.
Yeah, Chargers, Dolphins.
As we've made our way through this, I think the Fish had a very good draft.
Fish had a good draft.
It looks like they have an idea for a change, and I'm really excited for them. Hopefully they do it. It's not just like their best available. It still looks like they have a plan. Like it has a shape, and I dig it.
Yeah, I mean, and they didn't make the stupid trade that, reports were saying, hey, they want to trade up to number 3, or hey, they want to trade up to number 3, keep their 5 pick, and then trade up to number 1 for Joe Burrow.
They got so much draft capital, man. You don't got to spend it on other picks. Just sit there, get another one. They got the other one from Green Bay, so they're chilling there. I like it. They had a good day. Another low key winner, I think, is obviously with everything that they need. The Jaguars, they picked up some good pieces. I'm good for them.
They made the right choices.
Yes,
again.
They didn't.
I'm gonna say 2 teams again that made the right choices are the Jets and the Browns. They could have very easily made the wrong choice there and went for a splash.
Yeah,
but they didn't. They made the right choice.
Or even also the Saints.
Yeah. Saints.
We said it before, if you can't get him a weapon and you see a few of those guys go, we thought maybe like a Brandon Ayuk would go there, but getting Brandon Ayuk the ball isn't going to happen if Drew Brees is on his ass. So,
I mean, really, when you look at it, I think a lot of teams made the right choices. Like, I only see maybe the Raiders have question marks, on going Ruggs over Judy and CeeDee Lamb, and then going Arnett over the other corners available.
Right.
And then you go, I mean,
all these picks make sense, but like as you kind of look,
Green Bay Seahawks.
If you go 1 to 32, other than Green Bay and Seattle, maybe, I think that more than most of the picks make sense the way the draft went.
Yep.
But if you go the other way, if you go the opposite direction, you're sitting there going, what the fuck is this draft? Like, Jordan Love to the Packers. How does Tristan Wirfs get all the way to 13 kind of thing?
Yep.
Like, and then you start going like from 1 to 32 though, it's like, okay, that's a safe pick. This guy makes sense. This is that. Yeah, I feel it. I think it turned out pretty well for a lot of teams. I think that, like you said, a lot of guys played it safe, and that's why you didn't see a whole lot of trades, or you saw the first trade was Tampa Bay moving up 1 spot. So, that's just, like we said, the mob boss, John Lynch, doing his thing. So, let us know what you think. I'm super happy with my Chiefs getting Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Let us know how happy you guys are with your team. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We're always doing stuff. Like the video if you did. Let us know about any feedback that we may or may not have had. And for a giveaway winner, our giveaway winner is our boy Sean Conley. With how weird this draft went, a lot of people were thinking there's going to be more and more trades. He wins with a grand total of 6 right out of 20. So congratulations on your 6 picks and your free case of Raise Energy that you'll be getting shortly. This is a lot of fun.
Thanks to everyone who sent sent them in. It was super fun to go back through it and look. I mean, me and Kyle did our own.
Yeah.
And we honestly didn't do better than any of you guys.
Oh, Sean had 5. Excuse me. I had 6. I did do better than everybody else.
You did. I had 5 as well.
By 1. So it's not like, oh yeah, I know football real good. I got lucky.
6. I had 5. So
yeah, I got lucky. I had in my mock, I had CeeDee Lamb going to the Cardinals, which would have been dope. But yeah, like I said, you look down the draft and it all makes sense. I think day one was very safe, but also you saw very few risks because I think that there wasn't the same kind of evaluation that you can normally have.
Yeah, I mean, no one had a pro day to just blow a team out of the water. We're like, oh, God, we got to take this guy.
Yeah.
They all had to go on the combine and what they watched tape on. And
yeah.
It just felt very safe. Like, hey, maybe this guy is better. But you know who's safe? That dude right there.
Yeah, the best lineman on the best offensive line.
Yep.
Yeah, makes sense, dude. I mean, Iowa kind of sucked. So I get it. But yeah, so that's been us. Again, if you're on YouTube, comment, like, dislike, whatever you got to do. Subscribe if you loved it. We're putting more stuff.
If you're a Packers fan and you want to tell us how much you love Jordan Love or how much you hate it,
yeah,
please.
Love to hate him.
We're still trying to figure out the trade ourselves. If you can make a little sense out of it for us, please do, because I'm confused.
Cheeseheads, I'm sorry, but that's been us. I'm Kyle. He's BMac. This is the Adventurous Podcast. Remember to love each other, love yourselves, and stay adventurous.
We out.